Hello students, welcome to Sitaram IAS online tutorial. So in this video we are going to deal with test series 18. So it is mainly focused on environment subject. So let's start. The first question is, consider the following statements. So here it is a largest of the living sea turtles. Jellyfish is its primary food. It is found in the tropical and temperate waters, and it is leatherback turtle. Leatherback turtle is the largest of the living sea turtles. Its primary food is jellyfish and it is found in tropical and temperate waters. So option A is the answer. Second question is, which of the following statements best describes the term ecological fiscal transfers? So ecological fiscal transfers is an instrument of revenue sharing scheme or intergovernmental transfers based on the ecological indicators. So based upon the ecological progress, the money will get funds will be coming, or the money for separate schemes to encourage the ecological system will be done. So under this, it is ecological fiscal transfers. The third question is, consider the following statements regarding natural farming. So natural farming is a chemical free or a traditional type of farming. So it is a diversified farming system that integrates crops, trees and livestock with functional biodiversity. Natural farming is promoted as Bharatiya Prakritik Krishi Paddhati program under the Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana, and Gujarat with 31% has the largest area under the natural farming in India, and it is followed by Andhra Pradesh with 28.8%, Madhya Pradesh with 11%. Okay, the highest state is Gujarat. It shares around 31.1% of area. The next, so option A is the answer. Fourth question is, consider the following statements with reference to ecological succession. So the primary succession occurs over a barren area when usually lacks topsoil and organic matter. So when there is nothing in the earth, the ecology developed based on the primary succession. So when there is nothing, the algae, it develops from the forest, or ecosystem develops from the minute organisms called algae and other microorganisms. So that phase is called primary succession. And the next is recolonization of an area damaged by fire is an example of secondary succession. Okay, not primary succession. So when forest fires or wildfires occur in the forest area or in any ecological system, or when it is deforestation, then when the trees and other species are again regrown in that area, then that succession, that type of thing is called secondary succession. Okay, the recolonization of an area damaged by fire is an example of secondary succession. Next is, each transitional community that is formed and replaced during succession is called serial succession. So only 1 and 3 statements are correct, and this serial community is an intermediate stage to reach a balanced stage of environment. Okay, so option D is the answer. Fifth question is, in 1988, British ecologist Norman Myers introduced the concept of biodiversity hotspots. So here, for a place to be declared as biodiversity hotspot, it should have at least 1500 endemic plant species that is found nowhere on the earth's surface. Okay, and Sundaland is in Southeast Asia and covers Singapore, Brunei, Thailand, Indonesia and Malaysia. So Sundaland is also a part of biodiversity hotspot, and India is a home of 4 biodiversity hotspots out of 36. So they are the Himalayas, the Indo-Burman region, Western Ghats and Sri Lankan region, and the Sundaland. So Sundarland biodiversity hotspot covers Singapore, Brunei, Thailand, Indonesia and Malaysia. It is the region of Southeast Asia. Okay, so option D is the answer. Sixth question is, which of the following is the objective of EMIT mission launched by NASA? So the full form of EMIT is Earth Surface Mineral Dust Source Investigation. So this mission was launched by NASA to map the prevalence of key minerals in the dust producing deserts on the earth. So using imaging spectroscopy in visible and short wave infrarange, these minerals are identified. The answer will be option B. Seventh question, which of the following biosphere reserves of India is or are protected under the UNESCO Man and Biosphere Reserve Program? So here, the UNESCO Man and Biosphere Reserve Program is an intergovernmental scientific program, and its main aim is to establish scientific basis for enhancing the relationship between people and the environment, and it combines natural and social sciences to improve the human livelihood and also to safeguard environment. So Agastyamala Biosphere Reserve, which is in Kerala, and Panna Biosphere Reserve, which is in Madhya Pradesh, these both regions belong to this UNESCO Man and Biosphere Reserve Program, and here present 12 regions are protected under this initiative. Eighth question, which of the following are the advantages of millets? So the millets are gluten free and can be consumed by celiac disease patients, and they are highly adaptive to wide range of ecological conditions and thrive well in rain-fed and arid climates, and they have a low glycemic index. So millets are mainly grown in Rajasthan, followed by Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. So option D is the answer. Ninth question, which of the following functions and ecosystem services are provided by a wetland? So the functions and services provided by wetland are, they purify and filter harmful waste including heavy metal from water. They act as nutrient recycling agents, climate change mitigation, groundwater recharge. So all these are correct. Option D is the answer. 10th question is, in the context of ecology, which of the following statements best describes ecophene? So ecophene is the first response or phenotype an organism shows when it arrives in the new environment. So the first response an organism shows when it arrives in a new environment is called ecophene. And ecotype is a phenotype of an organism when it lives in a new environment for too long period. So for 10th one, option D is answer. 11th question, consider the following statements regarding light mantled albatross. So it is a seabird native to Antarctic seas and forages over the cold Antarctic, and it was recently spotted in India for the first time, and it is classified as near threatened species on the IUCN Red List of threatened species. So option D is the answer. 12th question, which of the following statements is correct regarding the ecological pyramid of numbers? So the ecologic pyramid of numbers represent the total number of individuals of different species at each trophic level, and in grasslands and aquatic ecosystems it is upright shaped. So the ecological pyramid of numbers is spindle shaped in the forest ecosystem, whereas in grassland and aquatic ecosystems it is upright shaped, and in the forest ecosystem it is upright shaped because large size trees are producers, and in the aquatic ecosystems it is upright due to the decrease in the number of individuals from lower level to higher trophic level. So option D is the answer. 13th question, with reference to Sichla, recently seen in news, consider the following statements. So, it is an indigenous bird found only in specific areas of Eagle Nest Wildlife Sanctuary in Arunachal Pradesh, and it was first bird to be discovered in India since independence, and it has been named in the honor of the Bugan community in conserving the wildlife. So option B is the answer. 14th question, consider the following statements regarding the Vikram S rocket. So Vikram S is the first privately developed rocket and it is launched by ISRO. So it was designed and developed by Hyderabad based startup under the Mission Prarambh, and it can carry heavier payloads than small satellite launch vehicles. So option D is the answer. 15th question, consider the following statements about vulture species. So the vulture are not resident. So here it is the Eurasian, that is griffon vulture. Griffon vulture is not resident vulture but winter visitor vulture, and they are categorized as the least concerned in the IUCN Red List, and they are protected under Schedule 4 of Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. So option C is the answer. 16th question, which of the following is not correct regarding the various crocodile species in India? So I'll only tell the correct statements. So it is the gharial is the fish eating freshwater crocodile, and mugger crocodile is a freshwater species found exclusively in the Ganga Chambal rivers and also in Gujarat. And saltwater crocodile is the largest living reptile and crocodilian, and gharial is listed as critically endangered on the IUCN Red List. So here the answer will be option B. Okay students, I'll only repeat the correct statements so that it will be very easy for you to listen and to remember for a long time. So for that reason, I'm not at all reading the wrong statements, I'm only reading the correct statements. So 17th question is, what is the significance of species like Schistocerca gregaria and Nomadacris succinta and Anacrydium sp? So they are the species involved in the locust pest swarms attack on crop fields in India. So these are the species of locust pest swarms attack. So 18th question is, a particular biosphere reserve is located on the leeward side of the Himalayas. A huge seasonal variation is seen in the climatic conditions of its region, and it includes the Pin Valley National Park and Kibber Wildlife Sanctuary. It's a home to snow leopards and ibex, and the Chandratal Lake, an important Ramsar site, is situated in this biosphere reserve. It is the Cold Desert Biosphere Reserve. So option B is the answer. 19th question, with reference to bioprospecting, consider the following statements. So bioprospecting is the process of discovery and commercialization of new products based on biological resources, and the biological resources associated with bioprospecting include chemical compounds, genes and microorganisms, and it can lead to the discovery of new medicinal drugs. So option D is the answer. 20th question, consider the following statements regarding bathypelagic zone of the ocean. So here the bathypelagic zone of the ocean is the midwater zone. So the organisms found here are illuminated by bioluminescence, and in hadal-pelagic zone, the hadal-pelagic zone is the bottommost layer of an ocean, and in bathypelagic zone the sea creatures here are primarily black or red due to the absence of sunlight. Okay, so option B is the answer. 21st question, consider the following statements regarding the Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety. So Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety is an international treaty governing the movements of living modified organisms resulting from modern biotechnology from one country to another. So it regulates the transboundary movement of living modified organisms resulting from biotechnology, and the protocol establishes a biosafety clearinghouse to facilitate the exchange of information on living modified organisms. So option C is the answer. 22nd question, which of the following steps are taken by India to prevent biopiracy? So here the biopiracy is an unethical or unlawful appropriation or commercial exploration of biological materials. So, India has ratified the United Nations Convention on Biodiversity, and the Biodiversity Act of 2002 regulates the access to biological resources and associated traditional knowledge to ensure equitable sharing of benefits arising out of their use. And traditional knowledge digital library documents traditional knowledge and makes it available in the public domain. So option D is the answer. 23rd question, consider the following fauna of India. So hawksbill turtle is critically endangered on IUCN Red List, and Himalayan griffon vulture is near threatened species. Saltwater crocodile is the least concern. So they asked which of the following is critically endangered. So it is hawksbill turtle. Option A. 24th question, consider the following statements with regard to the methane alert and response system MARS. So here it is a new satellite based system that will alert governments, companies and operators about large methane sources, and it is implemented by International Energy Agency and UNEP hosted Climate and Clean Air Coalition. So option A is the answer. 25th question, in the context of wildlife, consider the following statements. So the territory is the smaller geographical area when compared with the home range, and a territory of an animal can be marked out using movement, sound or smell. So option B is the answer. 26th question, in order of biomagnification to occur, which of the following properties the pollutant must have? So here biomagnification is the rise or increase in the contaminated substances caused by intoxicating environment. So the properties that occur due to biomagnification is a long biological half-life, mobile, and it must be soluble in water. So these are the properties the pollutant must have. So option C is the answer. 27th question, while the earth is looking at the sixth Mars extension which is anthropogenic, the last 5 Mars extension episodes were due to natural causes. So consider the statements regarding the past Mars extensions episodes. So here the first Mars extension was the result of ice age that led to the fall in the sea level, and fifth Mars extension episode happened around 65 million years ago, and Triassic Jurassic Mars extension has been linked to the outburst of volcanism. So option C is the answer. 28th question, with reference to the United Nations Environment Program, consider the following. So it was founded as a result of United Nations Conference on Human Environment in 1972, and its headquartered is in Nairobi in Kenya. So option C is the answer. 29th question, consider the following statements with reference to pig iron. So here ilmenite is smelted to produce pig iron, and its high carbon content makes it brittle and not useful for direct applications. And China is the largest producer of pig iron, and Russia is the biggest exporter of pig iron to India as per 2021 census. So option A is the answer. 30th question, which of the following statements is not correct regarding the aquatic ecosystem? So I'll repeat only the correct answer. So respiration activity takes place in the aphotic zone, and in littoral zone is close to the shore and absorbs more sunlight. So littoral zone will be the warmest zone of the lake, and nectons are swimmer animals. And limnatic zone is open water area where light does not penetrate. So limnatic zone is dominated by both phytoplanktons and zooplanktons. So the answer will be option C. Okay, nectons are swimmer animals. Now, 31st question is recently 26th edition of multinational maritime exercise Malabar 22 culminated. Which of the following are participating countries in Malabar exercise? So it is India, Australia and USA. Option B is the answer. 32nd question, consider the following statements regarding Tundra biome. So Tundra biome is the coldest of the biomes. Now what is a biome? Biome is a naturally occurring community of flora and fauna occupying major part of the area. For example, forest. Okay, so mammals have a large body size and small tail and ears in the tundra biome, and the tundra regions receive less than 25 centimeters of precipitation annually, and the tundra biome is also found at the lower latitudes at higher elevations, and arctic tundra are found at high latitudes and alpine tundra are found at higher elevations at lower latitudes. So option A will be the answer. 33rd question, with reference to the Ramsar Convention on Wetlands, which of the following are prescribed criteria for a wetland to be designated as a Ramsar site? So here, a wetland should support vulnerable, endangered and critically endangered species or threatened ecological communities, and a wetland should regularly support over 20,000 or more water birds, and wetland should regularly support at least 1% of the individuals in the population of one species or subspecies of water birds. So option B will be the answer. 34th question, consider the following statements about nitrogen cycle. So nitrogen in the atmosphere must be converted into ammonia or nitrates before it is used as a nutrient by plants or animals, and denitrification is a process through which nitrogen leaves the soil and is released into the atmosphere as nitrogen or nitrous oxide gas. So both these statements are correct. Option C is answer. 35th question, consider the following statements regarding RESAT satellite series. So RESAT is radar imaging satellite. So it is a series of Indian radar imaging reconnaissance satellites built by ISRO, and RESAT 2 was recently brought by Israel. So it is not India's first indigenous, it is bought from Israel. So option A is answer. 36th question, consider the following statements regarding peatlands. So the peatlands are the largest natural terrestrial carbon store. The peatlands are the year-round waterlogged conditions, and it decreases the process of plant decomposition, and they are most common across boreal and subarctic zones of the northern hemisphere, and over 30% of the world's terrestrial soil carbon is found in the peatland ecosystem, and peatland covers 3% of the global land surface and absorb double carbon than forest. So option C is the answer. 37th question, in the context of wildlife in India, in which of the following national parks can one find snow leopards? So in the Pin Valley National Park in Himachal Pradesh and Hemis National Park in Jammu and Kashmir, in both these national parks snow leopard is found, whereas Mount Manipur National Park and Saddle Peak National Park both are located in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So in these both it is not found. So only option 3 and 4 are correct. Option C is answer. 38th question, arrange the following environmental movements in a chronological order of their occurrence. So first is Save Silent Valley movement. It occurred in 1973 and it was started by an NGO led by Kerala Shastra Sahitya Parishad, and Narmada Bachao Andolan was started in 1985, and it was done by the native tribals, farmers, environmentalists, human rights activists against the number of dams project across building number of dam projects across the river Narmada. And Apico movement was started in 1983, and local men, women, children hug the trees, and this movement started in Karnataka. So the sequence will be 1, 3 and 2. Option A is the answer. 39th question, consider the following statements regarding environment and habitat. So all habitats are an environment, but all environment are not habitats. And there is no natural habitat on earth that is inhabited only by a single species, because every species depends on other species for their food. So second one is also correct. The third one is environment governs the properties of habitat. So all these statements are correct. Option D is the answer. 40th question, consider the following statements regarding Central Asian Flyway or CAF. So it Central Asian Flyway covers the large continental area of Eurasia between Arctic and Indian Ocean and associated with island chains also. So it comprises of several important migration routes of water birds. So Central Asian Flyway is one of the flyways identified under the Convention of Migratory Species, and Central Asian Flyway migration route includes the steppes and cold desert of Central Eurasia. So both these are correct. Option C is the answer. 41st question, which of the following statements best defines the term soft loan? So soft loan is a loan with no interest or below market rate of interest. So option A is the answer. 42nd question, which of the following revolves restored Kunt Katti rights of tribals in the Chota Nagpur region and banned Beth Bigari? So it is Ulgulan revolt. So it is also called as the Great Tumult against the exploitation of tribals by the local authorities. So option C is the answer. 43rd question, consider the following statements with reference to the ecosystem productivity. So the net primary productivity of an ecosystem is always less than its gross primary productivity, and primary productivity depends on the photosynthetic capacity of plants. Here, the gross primary productivity means the rate of production of organic matter during the photosynthesis. Okay, so option C is the answer. 44th question, consider the following statements with reference to the conservation reserves. So these are the areas owned by either the central government or the state government, and the areas adjacent to the national parks and sanctuaries and those areas which link one protected area with another can be declared as the conservation reserve by the state government. Okay, and the conservation reserve management committee advises the chief wildlife warden to conserve, manage and maintain the conservation reserve. We also have community reserve. Community reserve is managed by the private parties. Okay, so option C is the answer. 45th question, consider the following statements with regard to the Himalayan grey langur. So it is a leaf eating variety of monkey and it is placed under the endangered species category of the IUCN list. So option C is the answer. 46th question, with consider the following statements with reference to the Sundarbans. So it is the Sundarbans are the only mangrove forest in the world inhabited by tigers, and it hosts the endangered Irrawaddy dolphins also, and the vulnerable fishing cat. And in India, only two wetlands of India are in the Montrex record. Now, what is this Montrex record? Record, it registers in the Montrex record. It registers the wetland sites on the list of wetlands of international importance. So, only two wetlands of India are under Montex record, and they are Keladio National Park in Rajasthan and Loktak Lake in Manipur. So whichever wetland species are about in vulnerable situation, then it is under this Montrex record. Okay, so 47, so option A is the answer. 47th question, consider the following statements with respect to the Neelakurinji flowers. So it is a shrub found in the Shola forest of the Western Ghats in Kerala, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu, and it blooms only once in 12 years. And we have Nilgiri Hills in Western Ghats. So, Nilgiri Hills got it named with this flower, that is Neelakurinjini. Okay, so as the flower is blue, that the Nilgiri Hills got its name. So, option B is the answer. 48th question, consider the following statements regarding the Coronivia joint work on agriculture. So, it is the only program to focus on agriculture and food security under the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, and it was established in the 2017 COP23. So, option A is the answer. 49th question, with reference to the protected areas in India, consider the following statement. So, regarding the protected areas, no alteration in the boundary of the wildlife sanctuary can be made except by recommendations of the National Board for Wildlife, and no alteration in the boundaries of a tiger reserve can be made except with the recommendations of National Tiger Conservation Authority and the approval of the National Board for Wildlife. So option A is the answer. 50th question, consider the following statements regarding community reserve. So, community reserve is a buffer zone between national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, and protected forests in India, and these are declared by the state government, and these areas should not be a part of national park, and both private and community areas can be declared as a community reserve. So option B is the answer. 51st question, consider the following statements regarding cheetahs of Asia and Africa. So under the Project Tiger, the central government has reintroduced 8 African cheetahs at Kuno National Park in Madhya Pradesh. So in size, the Asiatic cheetahs are smaller than the African cheetahs, and currently African cheetahs have more diverse habitat than the Asiatic cheetahs, and India has introduced African cheetahs in the Kuno National Park. So option B is the answer. 52nd question, which of the following has the authority to assign the village community the rights to manage reserved forest? It is the state government. The state government has the authority to assign a village community the rights to manage reserved forest. Option A is the answer. 53rd question, which of the following statements best describes ecosystem accounting? So, ecosystem accounting is a framework for measuring ecosystem services and linking this information to economic and other human activity. So option D is the answer. 54th question, consider the following statements regarding the significance of keystone species in biodiversity. So keystone species have low functional redundancy. So functional redundancy means the species loss is compensated by other species contributing similarly to functioning. Example, bees, elephants, Bengal tiger, etc. have low functional species. They are the keystone species that have low functional redundancy, and the keystone mutualists maintain gene flow throughout the ecosystem. So option B is the answer. 55th question, which of the following are the advantages of nanomaterials in drug delivery? So, targeted drug delivery to a particular region of the human body, delivery of water insoluble drugs in the human body, controlled release of drugs in the blood circulation system, and nanoparticle based drugs increase toxicity in other organs significantly. Okay, so only option D is the answer. 56th question, recently India's first dugong conservation reserve was declared by Tamil Nadu. So consider the following statements regarding dugong. So dugongs are also called sea cows. So in India they are found in Park Bay and also found in Gulf of Kutch, Gulf of Mannar and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. They are herbivorous mammals and they are protected under Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. So option answer is option B. 57th question, why is a plant of genus Acacia often mentioned in news? So it genus Acacia tends to reduce the biodiversity in the area in which it grows? Option A is the answer. 58th question. The term record of rights is sometimes seen in use is related to. So, record of rights is a legal document that gives details about land and who owns it. So, Swamitva scheme provides record of rights to the rural areas, and it is under Ministry of Panchayat Raj. So option B is answer. 59th question. Consider the following statements with respect to the forest in India. So the forest can be categorized as the reserved forest only by the state governments, and the higher percentage of the forest area in India is classified as reserved forest than protected forest, and even every state in India has the reserved forest. So the forests are categorized as reserved forest under the Forest Right Act of 1927. So option B is the answer. 68th question. Consider the following statements with respect to the sedimentary nutrient cycle. So sedimentary nutrient cycle is a movement of nutrient elements through the various components of an ecosystem. So it is also called biogeochemical cycles. So most gaseous cycles are generally considered as the perfect cycles, and its reservoir is only earth's crust. So option D is the answer. 61st question. Which of the following statements best describes peripatric speciation? So speciation is how a new kind of plant or animal species is created. Okay, so there are different kinds of speciations. So for example, consider allopatric speciation. So allopatric speciation means it occurs when the species separate into two separate groups which are isolated from one another due to the geographical barriers. That is called allopatric speciation. This is option C. Now coming to this peripatric speciation, it occurs when small groups of individuals breaks off from the larger group and form new species. That is peripatric speciation. And next is sympatric speciation. So it occurs when there are no physical barriers preventing any members from a species from mating with another, and all members are in close proximity to one another. So in that type it is called sympatric speciation. And when coming to the artificial speciation or hybrid speciation, it occurs through the lab experiments and new species are created by the people. So here they asked peripatric speciation. So it is option B. This occurs when small groups of individuals breaks off from larger group and forms new species. Now coming to 62nd question. National park and states are given. So Madumalai National Park is in Tamil Nadu, Sirohi National Park is in Manipur, Dudhwa National Park is in Uttar Pradesh, Neora Valley is in West Bengal. So option D is the answer. 63rd question. Consider the following statements regarding Patan Patola craft. So it is the GI tag from Gujarat, not Rajasthan, and it is the ancient art of double ikat woven in pure silk, and it was patronized by the rulers of Solanki dynasty. So option B is the answer. 64th question. Which one of the following organizations released Adaptation Gap Report 2022? So it is United Nations Environment Program. Option C. 65th question. In the context of marine plant diversity, consider the following statements regarding seagrasses. So seagrasses are like terrestrial plants with roots, stems, seed, flower, etc. And seagrasses are found along all the coastal areas in India. So option B is the answer. 66th question. Aceclofenac, recently seen in use, is an veterinary painkiller that metabolizes into diclofenac. So option A is the answer. 67th question. The report by 2030 is Transforming Cities was published by, it was published by the World Economic Forum. Option A is the answer. 68th question, the term greenwashing is sometimes seen in use in the context of, it is in the context of carbon offsets. Option C is the answer. 69th question, consider the following statements regarding e-rupee launched by RBI. So e-rupee can be accepted as a medium of payment, legal tender and a safe store of value, and it would appear as a liability on the central bank's balance sheet. So option C is the answer. 70th question, it is a rare bustard species that is well known for its mating dance and native to only 3 countries of the world, that is Colombia, India and Nepal, and it occurs in the 3 states, namely Uttar Pradesh, Assam, Arunachal Pradesh. It is critically endangered species. It is found in Kaziranga National Park and Manas National Park. Land use change for agriculture has been one of the major threats to its existence. So, which of the following is described? It is the Bengal florican. Option B is the answer. 71st question, NASA recently completed the technology demonstration of its low Earth orbit flight test of an inflatable decelerator, that is LOFIT mission. So, what is the potential advantage of inflatable aerodynamic decelerator or aeroshell technology? So, it could help land humans on Mars, and it could be used to bring massive objects back from the International Space Station, and it could potentially be used for bringing back rocket assets after they are launched. So, option D is the answer. 72nd question, with reference to the species diversity. Beta diversity is the rate at which species richness increases as one moves in a straight line across a region from one habitat to other habitat, and gamma diversity is a measure of overall diversity of different ecosystems within a region. So option C is the answer. 73rd question, which of the following statements is or are correct regarding the taiga biome? So it is not found in the southern hemisphere. Coniferous trees such as spruce, pine and fir are commonly found in the taiga biome, and it is the largest cat species in the world is native of taiga species. So option A is the answer. 74th question, the Ministry of Jal Shakti recently released Dynamic Groundwater Resource Assessment Report 2022. So in this context, India is the largest user of groundwater in the world, and groundwater assessment unit is categorized as safe if extraction is less than 70% of available resources. So option C is the answer. 75th question, consider the following statements with reference to the lab grown diamonds. So here these are developed from the carbon seed placed in the microwave chamber and superheated into a glowing plasma ball. And there are 2 types of lab grown diamonds. One is chemical vapor decomposition, that is CVD technique, and the other is high pressure high temperature technique. So high pressure high temperature technique type of lab grown diamonds are not purest, but the CVD technology certified diamonds are the purest, and 100% foreign direct investment is permitted in this sector under the automatic route in India. So option C is the answer. 76th question, consider the following statements regarding saffron. So saffron is a native of southern Europe and cultivated in Mediterranean countries, and it thrives best in warm subtropical climate, and photo period exerts a considerable influence in the flowering of saffron. So it is option D. 77th question, consider the following statements about the Hope Spots. So Hope Spots network is a joint initiative of Mission Blue and International Union of Conservation of Nature. And Hope Spots is an area of an ocean that needs special protection. And Lakshadweep and Andaman and Nicobar Islands are the only hope spots in India. So option B is the answer. 78th question, which of the following statements is correct about corals? So reef building corals cannot tolerate water temperature below 18 degrees Celsius, and most reef building corals also require very saline water from 32 to 42 parts per thousand. And the zooxanthal zooxanthellae. So these zooxanthellae are the reef which contains photosynthetic algae, that is called zooxanthellae. So these zooxanthellae are the fast growing plants, whereas corals are the slow growing colonies of animals. So the correct answer will be option D. 79th question, which of the following are not methods of in situ conservation of biodiversity? So in situ conservation of biodiversity is the conservation of wildlife in its natural habitat. So um, bio botanical gardens and cryopreservation are the in situ conservation of these both are not in situ conservation of biodiversity. So whereas wildlife sanctuary and sacred groves belong to in situ conservation of biodiversity. And here cryopreservation means the organisms are preserved by cooling to very low temperature. Okay, so option C is answer. 88th question, consider the following statements regarding the red-eared slender turtles recently seen in news. So it is a native to the southeastern USA and Mexico, and it poses threat to both local hard and soft shell turtles. And the species is not mentioned in the Convention of International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. So all these statements are correct. Option C is the answer. 81st question, which of the following countries are bordered by Lake Victoria? So Uganda, Kenya and Tanzania. So all these three countries are bordered by Lake Victoria. Option A. 82nd question, which of the following are the threats posed by global warming to biodiversity? So it is reduced reproduction, gender imbalance in species, habitat destruction, increased disease incidence and migration to higher latitude. So all these, option C is the answer. So all these are the factors that threaten global warming to biodiversity. So 83rd question is, consider the following statements about biosphere reserves in India. So the Kutch Biosphere Reserve is the largest biosphere reserve in terms of area, and Dibru-Sikhowa Biosphere Reserve is the smallest in terms of area. And Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve is spread across the three states, that is Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Karnataka. And Agastya Malai Biodiversity Reserve is spread across Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Achanakmar Amarkantak Biodiversity Reserve is spread across Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. So option D is the answer. 84th question, in the context of ecology, which of the following statements is not correct? So ecocline is the zone of continuous one ecosystem to another. So it is a continuous change from one ecosystem to another. So it is ecocline. So and population is a community of interbreeding organisms occupying a defined area during a specific time. So option C is the answer. 85th question, Kaziranga National Park is known for its big five animal species. So which among are not one of the big five species? So here the big five animals are rhinoceros, tiger, elephant, wild buffalo, Asiatic wild buffalo and eastern swamp deer. So the answer will be snow leopard. Snow leopard is not included in the big five species. So the next question is 86th. Which of the following national parks is or are located to the north of the river Brahmaputra? It is Orang National Park and Nameri National Park, whereas Kaziranga National Park is located to the southern bank of Brahmaputra river and at the foot of Mikir and Karbi Anglong hills. So option B is the answer. 87th question. Consider the following statements with regard to the International Drought Resilience Alliance. So here this International Drought Resilience Alliance is a collaborative platform that catalyzes political momentum and mobilizes resources for targeted actions to enhance drought reliance. So the presidents of Spain and Senegal convened this alliance, and India is not a part of International Drought Resilience Alliance. So option D is the answer. 88th question. Consider the following statements with reference to the Ramgarh Vishdhari Wildlife Sanctuary. So which was declared as a tiger reserve recently. So the National Chambal Gharial Sanctuary is a part of this sanctuary, and it connects the tiger parks between Ranthambore Tiger Reserve and Mukundara Tiger Reserve of Rajasthan. So option A is the answer. 89th question. Elephant reserves and states are given. So it is Singpan Elephant Reserve is in Nagaland, and Dandeli Elephant Reserve is in Karnataka, Lemru Elephant Reserve is in Chhattisgarh, and Nilambur Elephant Reserve is in Kerala. So option C is the answer. 90th question. Consider the statements regarding Machu River. It originates in the hill ranges of Jasdan Sardar and Mandwa in Rajkot district and Chotila Hills range in Surendranagar district, and it drains into the Malia in Rann of Kutch, and Beti, Asoi, Machori and Maha are its tributaries. So option C is the answer. 91st question. Consider the following statements about mangroves. So it is an evergreen forest ecosystem found mainly in the tropical and subtropical intertidal regions of the world, and its seeds germinate in the trees itself before falling into the ground, and it produces blind roots to overcome the respiration problem in the anaerobic soil conditions. So option D is the answer. 92nd question. Consider the following statements. So he was a close associate of Gandhiji and actively participated in the non-cooperation movement, Salt Satyagraha and Quit India movement. He was elected as the president of Indian National Congress in 1947. He moved the first ever no confidence motion in the Lok Sabha in 1963. So it is Jeevatram Bhagwan Das Kriplani. So it is J.B. Kriplani. So option B is the answer. 93rd question. With reference to the coronal holes, consider the following. So these coronal holes appear as a dark areas in the solar corona in extreme ultraviolet and soft X-ray solar images, and these are cooler and less denser than the surrounding sun plasma, and the magnetic field of the coronal holes is different than the rest of the sun. So option C is the answer. 94th question. Which of the following statements best describe the term photoperiodism? So photoperiodism is the response to changes in the daylight that enables plants to adapt to seasonal changes in their environment. Option C is the answer. 95th question. Consider the following statements regarding the various species of dolphins in India. So in India, only two subspecies of dolphins, that is Ganga, not only two, three subspecies of dolphins are present. That is Ganga river dolphin and Indus river dolphin, and also Irrawaddy dolphin is found in Chilka Lake in Odisha. Okay, so next is the Ganga river dolphin is currently listed on the Convention of Migratory Species, and river Bias is the only habitat of Indus river dolphin in India. So option B is the answer. 96th question. Consider the following statements regarding the migratory monarch butterflies. So they undertake the longest migration of any insect species known, and they are found in the USA, Australia, as well as India, and they are classified as endangered in the IUCN red list of threatened species. So option D is the answer. 97th question, consider the following statements about the ecotone. So it is a zone where two communities meet and integrate, and it has far greatest productivity than the natural ecosystem. So option C is the answer. 98th question, the Wuhan declaration recently seen in use is related to the wetland management. Option A is the answer. 99th question, which of the following are the various rhinoceros species across the world? So here the Indian rhino single horn species is present in both male and female, and the Sumatran rhino is the smallest species of rhinoceros, and only the greater one horned rhino is found in India. And in Africa we find two types of species, one is white rhino and the other is black rhino. In those both, black rhino is the smaller species. Okay, so with the answer they asked which is not correct, so it is option D. 100th question, consider the following statements regarding the grazing food chain and detritus food chain. So while the primary consumer is essentially a herbivore in a grazing food species chain, scavengers are the consumers in the detritus food chain. And while grazing food chains can be found in aquatic ecosystems and also in the soil, and the detritus food chain is found in the terrestrial ecosystem. So option A is the answer.